Hi, I'm Rebecca with K4 Connect. Welcome to part 2 of our 5-part video series on how to write an integration with FusionOS. Today we're going to discuss the implementation file. The first step in building an integration is to tell FusionOS how your integration works. This is done by creating an implementation file. Create a file called implementation.json in the root of your project directory. Now, let's review the various elements of the file. Version is a string constructed with the format major.minor.release. It can be set as needed by the developer to keep track of releases. The runtime field specifies the language the integration is written in. The supported runtimes are Java 11, Node.js 18.x, Python 3.10, .NET 6, Go 1.x, and Ruby 2.7. The main field specifies the entry point of the project. The CLI tool will use this information to package up the files correctly when deploying to FusionOS. A link to the CLI tool can be found in the link section below. The inputs field is an array of event schemas that the integration can produce. This defines what connections can be made originating from your integration. The CLS property is the name of the event schema found on the schema reference page. The name property is a short, friendly name that the developer can specify. The schema reference page is linked below this video. The outputs field is an array of event schemas that the integration can consume. This defines what connections can be made targeted to your integration. The CLS property is the name of the event schema found on the schema reference page, linked below. The name property is a short, friendly name that the developer can specify. The credentials field defines what credentials need to be collected from the customer to properly configure the integration. This object is a JSON schema definition, allowing the developer to specify fields like format, validation patterns, required fields, and descriptions. The provided data will be validated according to the schema before saving. The configuration field defines what other options need to be collected from the customer to properly configure the integration. This object is also a JSON schema definition. FusionOS includes a service for automatically matching entities based on rules that the customer configures. The matching field contains a list of property names that are unique fields for your integration nested by item type. At this time, only the user property is supported. Other matching rules may be considered in the future. The optional cron schedule field specifies a map of cron strings for setting how often the integration should be invoked. It is not necessary for integrations that make use of webhooks for live API updates. A helpful cron calculator is available in the links below this video. Thanks for joining us for part 2. Next up, part 3, Hello World.